What is going on, New York Yankee fans? Welcome back to another video. Please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also share this out as well. We appreciate it here as we're trying to grow the channel even more. And if you haven't already, please check out the vlog from the July 4th game, Yanks versus O's. Once again, greatly appreciated. We had a lot of fun that day, and we had a lot of fun recording that day. So, thought I'd bring this video out, and I'm thinking of doing individual trade deadline candidate videos for the channel, and just instead of just one basic one detailing the candidates, kind of like I did. It was either last year or the year before. We're also doing an MLB trade deadline stream, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August 1st, so please join us for that as well. But the Yankees outfield is a horror show right now. As of this recording, I don't know who's getting called up for Jake Bauers, because Jake Bauers is going on the AL due to an injury that he suffered when he dived for that ball in left field and missed in the third game of the Orioles series. IKF, love the attitude, does not belong in left field or any outfield spot for any matter. That's the Yankees trying to make up for loose ends and tie up loose ends, which does not work when you have a $300 million payroll and you're just trying to put square pegs in round holes. Oswaldo Cabrera does not deserve to be in the major leagues whatsoever, and his swing is terrible, his at-bats are terrible, his plate discipline is terrible, and his defense isn't good either in the outfield. So the Yankees, once again, trying to put players in wrong positions, and this outfield spot, particularly left field, has been a problem since the offseason. It's been a problem for years now. They tried solving it with Joey Gallo. They tried, different other things, whatever, and it didn't work. They traded off Joey Gallo. I mean, Bader came in last year. They wanted to play Stanton more in the outfield. They didn't. Hicks got more playing time than needed. He was obviously DFA'd and released earlier this year, and now the Yankees have a huge wide open hole in left field full of misfits. And if the Yankees don't do anything about it, offensively and defensively, they're going to be fucked for the rest of the year, even if they make the postseason. Like, it's an if at this point, if they do make the postseason, and it's just a mess. Now, I get it. Yes, they took 2 out of 4, and they're going to face the Cubs, which they'll probably take 2 out of 3 of. But with Aaron Judge being out, and even Aaron Judge coming back being about 80-90%, the Yankees cannot have these offensive and defensive issues, which is why they need a game changer. Who's that game changer, you ask? That game changer is 24-year-old Juan Soto. You guys have heard the name. He is one of the best players in baseball. Now, I know what people are going to say. Alex, you are just like the Yankee fans who think that they're going to trade for everybody and get everybody. Yes and no. Yes and no, because we are the New York Yankees. We have different standards than everybody else. The New York Yankees should go out and try to trade for this guy. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. I'm also going to give you some players that could possibly be talked about in negotiations of a deal for Juan Soto at the trade deadline, and whether the Yankees, in my opinion, should give them up or not. So, Juan Soto, 24 years old. Let's look at the accolades, shall we? 3-time All-Star, World Series champion in 2019 with the Nats, NL batting champ in 2020, Babe Ruth Award in 2019, 3-time Silver Slugger, All-MLB team in 2019, 2-time All-MLB first team in 2020 and 2021. So let's take a look at his stats on the year. I want to go to an updated version because, of course, the Padres play out west and want to get those stats right away. On the year, Juan Soto is hitting .272, 15 home runs, 47 RBIs, 81 hits, 298 at-bats, 320 in the last 7, 346 in the last 15, 302 in the last 30. So he may not be hitting, 300 or 289, but this is still a good year for Juan Soto, considering the fact as well that his team absolutely sucks. Considering the star power on that team like Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and the manager they have in Bob Melvin, that team is a train wreck right now. And I think it would be a mistake for, I think his name is AJ Preller, the GM of the Padres, to go out and start buying again, because they did that last year with Soto and they didn't get anywhere. So Let's go into the reasons to trade for Juan Soto. I got 5 on my list right now. Number 1, he's a superstar. It puts more butts in seats, sells more jerseys. If you're thinking about it from a Yankees organizational, like Hal Steinbrenner standpoint, he is a superstar. And also makes the New York Yankees less dependent on Aaron Judge. Giancarlo Stanton, he's getting a little rusty. He's done better over the last few games, but that's not saying a lot. He's still around that 200 mark. Juan Soto definitely is better than Giancarlo Stanton right now. Harrison Bader, as of right now, he's fine with the wrist injury, so we'll keep playing as if that's the case. But once again, Judge, when he comes back and, when he's off, if you get Juan Soto here in either of those situations, the Yankees will be a much better team by far. So he is a superstar. He does make your team a lot better. So that's number 1. Number 2, he is respected at the plate. And why would I come out and say that he's respected at the plate? Well, guess what? Because he's got more walks than Ks 4 out of 6 years. Now, you would expect Juan Soto, and he had a tough start to the year. He was hitting around 215, 230, not very good. But now he's stretched out to 272. But 4 out of 6 years in his career, and you would not expect this from a modern-day power hitter. The Joey Gallos of the world, the Matt Olsons of the world, the Freddie Freemans of the world, those guys you would expect, and they probably do, have more strikeouts than walks. And even those guys that may have a lot of walks, they will probably strike out more. Because that's kind of the, the three outcome batter. It's like walk, strikeout, and home run. That's what most of those guys are. But Juan Soto does more than that. He does, trust me. More walks than Ks in 4 out of 6 years of his career. And he's still 24 years old. So he still has many more accomplishments to make. In 2018, 2019, those were the years where he struck out more than he walked. But those walks were still, very good, obviously, and in high numbers, too. In 116 games, he walked 79 times, struck out 99 times, still hit for average. And if you guys know me with baseball, and my mindset is, in terms of power hitters, like Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Salvador Perez in his prime, if you hit home runs and if you hit for average, I will accept the fact that you may strike out over 100 times, possibly even 200 a year. I know Judge accomplished that one year. I think it was like 2017 when he should have won MVP, but obviously went to Altuve. Juan Soto has only struck out about once in his career above 100 times. Considering the Yankees lineup that loves to strike out, I think this is a big thing for them. This is a big time change for the Yankees lineup. Now, if you look at the numbers now, Juan Soto, 77 strikeouts on the year, he's going to strike out at least 23 more times. So he's going to get over 100, but also he's got 81 walks on the year in 87 games, which means what? That he could, I'm not saying he will, he could have more walks than strikeouts another year in his career. And the Yankees need guys on base, especially at the top of the order. So he creates an instant impact, and he's respected at the plate. I think pitchers, I think they're starting to respect Giancarlo Stanton less at the plate. And they really don't respect anyone in the Yankees lineup. Like, Rizzo's struggling right now. We know that. He's been struggling since the Tatis thing at first and all that other shit, right? Giancarlo Stanton, he's souring down in his career. Bader, they respect in some scenarios. Bader can still hit the hell out of a ball when he's obviously healthy. Volpe's coming on. The other guys in the lineup, they're misfits. They're not really supposed to be at the top of the order. Jake Bauers, before he went on the IL, is not really a leadoff hitter, despite how well considerably he played. Billy McKinney, Jose Trevino, all these different guys. Gleyber Torres, obviously he's inconsistent, but he's still probably the best hitter the Yankees have right now other than Harrison Bader. So, number 2, respected at the plate, more walks than Ks, 4 out of 6 years. He hits for average. He's got a solid OPS. And, you need guys on base and all that other stuff that comes with it. Number 3, energy drive for the team. Right now, the Yankees are dull. And it seems like the last few years under Aaron Boone, the team is melatonin. Like, they are full of melatonin. They take melatonin. They could be the New York Melatonins because when they are down, what happens? They fall asleep. And it seems like that's been the energy the last few years. But if you have Juan Soto on the team, let's just say the Yankees are, kind of the way they are right now at the trade deadline. You trade for Juan Soto, the team could definitely start playing better, whether Judge is back or not. And that would be a huge plus if Judge is back too, because you get to add to that lineup a little bit. And I'll get to that really in point number 5. But energy drive for the team. Sometimes you always see the baseball movies, right? Where, The Natural, for example, and you also got Major League, and there's a couple other different movies, sports movies too, where the team sucks or the team is not doing good. They get the good player, and then they start winning. I feel like Juan Soto could have that impact for the New York Yankees undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. And listen, I know that's going to be a lot to put on a 24-year-old kid. But if he's one of the best players in baseball right now, I think he could stick it out in the New York market, my personal opinion. Number 4, outfield defense. Juan Soto, when I look at him, obviously I'm looking at the bat. Looking at the star power, hitting, walks, all that sort of stuff. I don't know if he's known as this great defender. I don't think he is. I think he's a solid defender. But if you take a look at everything Juan Soto is, and you take a look at the Yankees outfield right now, 10 times out of 10, that's an upgrade in left field. Over Oswaldo Cabrera, over IKF, over Jake Bauers, over a guy like Billy McKinney. McKinney's probably been the best fielding outfielder other than Bader and then when Stanton plays the field. Those errors will fucking kill you in the postseason. They will. Because they will serve as a momentum killer and momentum for the other team to keep scoring runs. Whether you face Baltimore, you face Tampa Bay, you face Texas, if you face Houston, if you face Minnesota, whoever the fuck. You cannot make those outfielders. You can't even have those players playing in the postseason because they are not big-time players. They're lucky right now that the Yankees don't have any guys, or else they would not be playing starting on any other Major League roster in the fucking outfield. I'm dead serious when I say that. So outfield defense, he definitely improves it, and he's a natural outfielder. Like, if he had subpar defense, at least I could say, look, this guy is an outfielder. Waldo's not an outfielder. IKF is not an outfielder. Bauers is not an outfielder. You see it. You just see it in the technique. If you've ever played baseball in your fucking life, your first step as an outfielder is always back, and then you move to the ball. And you don't always straight line to the ball when you're running a route in the outfield to get to the ball. You circle around it. But obviously the Yankees outfield coach, the fielding coach, and the players are not doing their fucking jobs. So there's that. Outfield defense number 4. What I was talking about with more of number 3 and the energy drive is going to insert into number 5. 2 years left. You got 23 and 24. This year, $23 million for one of the best players in baseball if the Yankees acquire him in Juan Soto. The Yankees are paying Aaron Judge close to $40 million. We know the number. For him to be one of the best players in baseball, unfortunately now he's on the IL, but I think $23 million is a bargain for Juan Soto at this point. And then next year you get arbitration, so then you could actually deal with him and then extend him. He does not have to be a rental. And we're going to talk about that in terms of giving up players, because that's going to be the next segment. But 2 years left, 2 playoff runs. If you get Juan Soto, you're probably not going to have to worry. Now, I could be wrong. You're probably not going to have to worry about the fact that Aaron Judge struggles in the postseason. If Juan Soto, and he's a good postseason hitter, by the way. He's, at least solid. And I think he's a little bit better than solid. Let's take a look at the numbers. 2019 in the wild card, 250 in 4 plate appearances. That's not really much of a sample size. 278 in the NLDS in 2019, 5 games. 188 in 4 games in the NLCS. In the World Series, where they won against the Houston Astros, 333 and 32 plate appearances. In 2022, against the Mets with San Diego, 333. In total, 14 plate appearances. 188, 17 plate appearances against the Dodgers, and then against the Phillies, 222. That balances out to a 261 lifetime career postseason batting average, which I think is very good. Compared to Judge, who hasn't been that good, let's be honest, in the postseason, whether it's him carrying the team and totally gassed or not, whatever the scenario is. You combine that with Bader, the potential of Anthony Rizzo in the postseason, Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, let's be fair too as well with Aaron Judge. He may struggle in the postseason, but pitchers will still be scared to pitch to him. And when you have a top 5, I don't know who's going to be the leadoff hitter. I hope it's not Judge. Hope it's not Rizzo. I think the Yankees need to figure that the fuck out. I think Anthony Volpe could be a candidate, but you might be putting pressure on him by putting him number 1 and then all that star power down. So if you do trade for Juan Soto, and I'm just going to put out a random, and I mean a random top 6. It's not going to be in order. Anthony Volpe, Aaron Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Juan Soto. Soto will probably not be batting lower than Stanton. Maybe you could interchange him and Rizzo. So maybe like, I don't know, Soto 3rd, Stanton 4th, Rizzo 5th, Bader 6th, and then Torres and Trevino and whoever else you got at the bottom of the fucking order. Maybe IK have to play 3rd or something like that, so you don't have to play that asshole Donaldson. But you see what I'm talking about. The top 6, top 7 is stacked already with guys that can hit very well. And star power too. Not just guys who can make contact, but star power too. And the thing with Soto I really like is, obviously he's a star, but he can also, besides hit home runs and walk, he can hit for extra base hits. The Yankees need that. They need guys on base. So 2 years left, and basically with the 2 years, with Juan Soto's potential, if the Yankees don't totally flop like the fucking Padres, which I have a little bit more confidence in this team to not flop like the Padres, you will have 2 playoff runs minimum, which kind of goes into, would you give up these players and why? Gleyber Torres, a lot of people have talked about trading him, and I'm going to talk about, like as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, guys that may be brought up in trade talks between Preller, the Padres front office, the Yankees front office, Brian Cashman, Mike Fishman, Gene Afterman, all those different people. So Gleyber Torres, I'm going to say no. I have been a guy that's come out here and said, look, I don't think Gleyber Torres is a part of the future of this team, but right now he is the saving grace at second base. Sure, he's a head case, but DJ LeMahieu flat out fucking sucks right now, and the Yankees are not calling up Oswald Peraza to play second anytime soon. So they're going to leave it with Gleyber Torres for right now and just, I guess do what they have to do in the future. I don't think he's a free agent next year. I think he's a free agent in 25, kind of like Juan Soto. Jason Dominguez. Right now he's hitting 200 with Somerset. He's obviously, I think, number 2 or number 3 on the prospect list of the New York Yankees. I think he's a corner outfielder with potential, but I would give him up in the deal. You have to keep in mind that you are trading for one of the best, if not the best player in baseball. Actually, no, I can't say Juan Soto is the best because, Ohtani's definitely up there. Acuna is definitely up there when healthy. Juan Soto is one of the best. So you have to keep that in mind. And also, just to say this before we get to Dominguez and all the other guys I have mentioned in this list, the Padres may be bad, but they're not fucking stupid. Because the Padres could go 2 different routes with the way, if they do want to end up selling Juan Soto, they could say, look, he's going to flourish with another team. We're going to want about the same type of package that we had to give up to the Nationals last year. They could go that way, or they could go the lesser route and say, look, obviously Soto's a great player, but we're not as good of a team, so maybe teams won't respect what we're going to say that his value is at. So maybe just like one top 5 prospect and then a couple like other top 10 guys or whatever. I'm just, like you guys, kind of guessing the mentalities here. So Dominguez likely a corner outfielder with potential. I know everybody says he's a Martian, he's this, he's that, whatever. If he's a corner outfielder, I'm going to be honest with you, you won't really need to worry about that because if you trade Dominguez, Juan Soto is your left fielder if you lock him down, which the Yankees should do. Do not make him a rental. If he plays well for you in 23, if you trade for him and he does well, you got to lock him down. It would be very stupid not to because it makes you look stupid for giving up all these prospects to the Padres, no matter how they work out or not. Just in, a hindsight 2020 view. But I would give up Dominguez, yes. Oswald Peraza. Right now with him, the value is definitely up in the air. He's hitting something like 281 on the season, around 15 home runs. That's not exact, so you guys can look at the numbers. But he's not hitting well in the last 7 to 15 games. He's just not hitting well. Now, why did I say value up in the air? Not just because of the last 7 to 15 games in AAA, but the Yankees have treated him very weirdly, kind of like what they have done with Florial and all these other guys that haven't panned out. And kind of Peraza is on that track. Not there yet, but he's on that track. Last year they call him up. They don't start him. They call him back up again. He hits a home run. I think he finished the year with like a 300 average. Obviously, limited plate appearances. Goes into spring training, competes with Volpe for shortstop. Loses. Had something like a 179 average. In that realm, gets sent down. Someone went on the IL, gets called back up. I believe it was Donaldson or somebody, and they send him back down. They didn't even start him in most of the games that he was actually up for. So he was on the bench, which really is not a way to treat your number 2 overall prospect. But that debate, unfortunately, is redundant, and I'm not going to go back into it. So that's why the value is up in the air. Now, the Padres could say, look, obviously, if we sell some other guys at the deadline, Peraza could be our starting shortstop of the future. Tatis right now, he's doing very good in the outfield, at least as of right now. I think he's like one of the league leaders in outfield assists, which is fucking crazy to me. But I would definitely give up Peraza in a deal. I would probably partner him with Dominguez, and to move to the pitchers, Drew Thorpe or Will Warren, one of them. I don't think I would go both, but if it had to, I might. We'll see what happens. Just an extra prospect piece in the deal. Both are very good pitchers within the Yankees system. Now, you guys are going to hate me for this one, but I'm going to fucking say it anyway because this is a channel where I give my real opinions, my real thoughts. You are trading for one of the best players in baseball. AJ Preller says to Brian Cashman, you're Brian Cashman. And you know what? In this case, I'm Brian Cashman, okay? I'm going to think with Brian Cashman brains or vice versa, whatever. AJ Preller says, okay, we'll give you Soto for Dominguez, one of Thorpe and Warren, maybe some other player, salary relief. That's a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fucking fast. But we want Anthony Volpe instead of Peraza. In my opinion, you say no at first, but if that's a deal breaker, you say yes. You say yes to giving up Anthony Volpe. And listen to me when I say this. It has absolutely zilch to do with production. Obviously, yes, he's hitting 223 on the year. He's hit really well over the last few games, somewhere in the 300s. Like probably over 320. I respect that. I get it. But when you have Peraza in the system, when you have depth, that could work out. And if you're going to either go between two choices of getting the best player in baseball and giving up a shortstop prospect who, yes, has done well over the last few games. So you got that scenario. Or you keep Volpe. Maybe he's a great player. You still have a hole in left field. What if he's not a great player and fucking Juan Soto goes to the Astros? And then, boom, they win a World Series or they get farther than the Yankees and we're still stumped on why the fuck we did not make such a trade. I was honestly one of those people last year that would have given up Volpe for Castillo because I felt Castillo was one of the final pieces the New York Yankees needed to secure a World Series run. Juan Soto is a player that I would absolutely give up Anthony Volpe for. Now, is it off first talks? No. If it's a deal breaker or a potential to be a deal breaker, I would say, okay, fine. Just Dominguez, Volpe, one of the pitchers, that's it. Because, listen, once again, has nothing to do with the production of Anthony Volpe. I have not been too hard on him, unlike other Yankee fans. But when you are trading for one of the best players in baseball, when you could lock that player up for years, when Hal Steinbrenner's perspective for 20 seconds, you could put more butts in seats, you make that trade. Especially for the fact that the Yankees haven't been World Series champions in 12, 13, 14 fucking years. The Yankees, if they pass this up because they hug a prospect, I don't give a shit who it is. Dominguez, Volpe, fucking Peraza. Now, I'm going to be fair and truthful. The Yankees probably won't make this trade. It's unfortunate, but just doesn't seem like this trade will happen. Now, I could be wrong. Hal could say, look, we need an extra piece. We need a superstar piece. Ohtani is injured right now. Let's go after Juan Soto. And you know what? Whatever it takes, we're going to give up for him. But what I'm tired of seeing is the Yankees, the last few years, prospect hug. I know Volpe's more than a prospect to some people, but we still have to let the future play out because he could turn into something great. He could turn into a bust. But The Yankees haven't won a World Series in 14 fucking years. Juan Soto, in my opinion, gets you the closest to a World Series this year, in my opinion. With Judge, without Judge, probably more likely with Judge. Because if you have a starting outfield, you have a top 6 of the lineup, like I've mentioned to you before, teams will fear that. And you won't really have to give a shit about the 7, 8, 9 hitters. You won't. As I said, I'm just tired of the Yankees hugging prospects. They have a legitimate situation here where they could trade for one of the best players in baseball. And you know what? I bet you this, Yankee fans. Let's just go in imaginary land for 20 seconds. Let's say the Yankees trade for Juan Soto. They give up Dominguez, they give up Volpe, Drew Thorpe, and Will Warren. And the Yankees call up Peraza because of it. Let's say the Yankees win the World Series. Let's say that, right? Or they fall just short of the World Series, or they lose the World Series. And it's not necessarily because of Soto, but you know you're like that much closer than you have been in years before. Are you going to give two shits about what Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe are doing as long as the Soto deal pans out and as long as he is locked down as a Yankee for the next few years? I don't think you'll care. But the Yankees should trade for Juan Soto. Will they do that? Probably not. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Really enjoyed doing this video. I had a first take of it. I really didn't like it, so I did a second take. This is the second take. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Was I being too rash with the prospects? You know, should the Yankees even give up like Dominguez and Volpe together or Dominguez and Peraza together? Let me know your thoughts. Positive, negative, hate, not hate. Throw it in the comments section. Share it out too. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool. And though they lost, let's go Yankees.